Welcome to Divinely Inspired, and this reading is all about romance for the year 2022. For those who are new on the channel, there are 3 piles to choose from: pile 1, pile 2, or pile 3. This is a general reading. If you chose pile 1, you have the heron, which is all about insight. You are being called to have courage and follow your true path, which will be discovered through exploring your inner self. Your inner wisdom will show you how to be more self-reliant, and the heron is here to remind you that grounding yourself in the earth and your spiritual beliefs will help you to discover emotional insights and clarity. And that's the heron. With the heron comes with a friendly fae. It says, keep going. Trust in yourself. You have all you need. And as you can see there, you got the heart that's shining. So believe in yourself and your heart and your love. Never give up. And comes with the friendly fae are the fairies. The first one we have is the piper. Next, we have fairies of the future, but it came reversed. Thirdly, we have the pook. In the first card, the piper is about music, order, harmony, seduction, and empathy. The piper here is to remind you to get what you want. It recommends that you try polite request and gentle, patient persuasion, and then wait quietly, welcoming it for it to come to you. Seek harmony and tranquility within yourself and in the world that surrounds you. Use your tenderness and gentleness, for it speaks of a time of harmony and creativity and increasing order. It tells of communication without words, through music or empathy, and the awareness of the feelings and concerns of others. Now this is the time to pay attention to the subtlety of others' expressions and feelings, and with their ideas. So look past the surface and listen as the world to a beguiling melody and the very edge of hearing. As the piper, as he plays his melodies in our dreams, which may be filled with meaning and importance, he then leaves it up to us to understand for what they mean. So this may be a good time to be aware that others may be listening to us with sensitivity and with clarity. So much so that they may hear what we are truly saying more clearly than we do ourselves. You may have a musical talent or an ability, or it may be suggesting that the use of music or in some way is very important at the present time. The second card is Fairies of the Future. To be here now, guidance and moving forward. And because the Fairies of the Future is standing on its head, it is saying that you are certain that you are going in the direction that you wish to go. Or are you merely following someone else's lead without being clear about your own direction? It may be that you need to consider a parting of the ways of the goals of others that do not match yours, or it may seem to be heading in a direction that is not right for you. This is the moment to pause and consider the direction that you want to go. Think where you would like to be and who you would like to become. So ask yourself if the steps that you're considering now are up to take a closer look to that goal or further from it. Last but not least, the Book. He is the shape changer, good and bad and the bad and the good. He's all about the paradox and the resolution. So, when he is appearing, it is a time for a resolution of seeing contradictions and the paradoxes within your situation. Someone or some part of the situation is cloaked in confusion, or is muddling our thoughts that must be stripped away, revealing the truth. We just need to think about it. The information we needed is now available to us. And as soon as we have that burst of insight and get it, it's time for us to make changes based on our new, clearly understanding. Alternatively, it may be time for us to make a reality check on the good and bad labels we put on things. So why don't you make a list of the good, and so even possibly the surprising things, about this situation, or another list about the bad ones. If you're not in the habit of seeing the good and the bad and the bad and the good, having prepared a black and white world rather than the one with colours, then you may need some help in learning to do this. So with the reflection of insight with a heron, keep going. You have everything that you need within your heart. You have clear direction of where you want to go within your life. Look within the good and bad in the situation, knowing what is your true path, your calling in the matters of your heart. Whether in romance, a passion, but trust and have faith within yourself, where you have everything that you need. Last but not least, we have the final insight. We have the dark moon. I let go, I release, I am within the perfect possibility. And if you chose pile number 2, you've got the goat, which is all about adventure. There's more to life than just getting up and doing your usual thing, and the goat reminds you to appreciate the people and things that make your life more interesting and colourful. You will be craving to embark on new adventures, so look up and ahead, and the goat will make sure that you don't lose your footing. along with your adventure with the goat, there are actually 2 fairy fays wants to join your companion. The first one is the forest walker. It says, keep courage and be gentle. And notice you have a friend sitting on your hand. It's the sign of gentleness. The other companion is the witch hare. Cross the threshold, leap the hedge, go over the wall. Well, that certainly is a sign of an adventure, hey? And with these 2 explorers, they have their fairy folks. The first one is Mook the Moyansa. The second one, Eponas Wits Lauters. And third, I am the poet's, but he rather sits on his head. So, with the first card, Monk the Moyansa, he's all about the small clues, the details, the messages everywhere, and have patience. He's asking you to pay attention to the details as it is important in this time. The little things are not only important in themselves, but they also give you importance in information about the larger things. So look for the inner, hidden meanings of the ordinary objects and happenings and experiences. Life is trying to teach you something by speaking to you gently. With luck and application, you will get the message before it has to speak to you more loudly. The body language in humans as well as mice may give you very useful information at this present time, especially if you learn to read it properly. The clues to the answers that you are seeking and the things that you need to know is all around you. You are suddenly surrounded by omens, portents and signs, and the signs are not written on billboards in large letters. No, they are the small happenings in your life. So be awake and be aware of them. And here's a helpful hint. If you work out what the question really is, it is much easier to recognize the answers when it comes. The second card, the opponent's wild daughter. She's all about the inner shadows, the nightmares, depression, madness, and growth. The opponent's wild daughter, Doctor, is a sphinx, whose riddles must be answered lest we otherwise be destroyed by our own internal conflicts. She reminds us that we cannot go forward until we have faced something buried within us that is holding us back. Her presence in the reading tells us that by finding and working through this is the task of some urgency. We can expect help in this from other people, from the fairies, and from our dreams, but we must be open to those difficult questions and the answers to be ready to face things about ourselves that are not as we would wish them to be. She urges us to heal and then the unresolved issues about who we really are and what we truly want to be. The answers to her riddles often comes in a sudden burst of enlightenment, like the solution to a Zen koan. We may watch a leaf fall or catch a glimpse of a tiny sliver of the new moon in the sky and suddenly be hit with the answers. But before that could happen, we usually work long and hard upon the question, searching and digging for the answer. And then the realization, when we really have it, will be transformative. We will no longer be the people who we once were. The last one, Tyam the poet, he's about clear sight, poetry, the erotic energy, laughter, and not getting into serious mischief. But he wants to sit on his head. So when he does this, he indicates there is confusion about what is really true. Or it may suggest that we are being silent when in fact we need to speak up. It could also indicate lies found out. You could get into a lot of trouble with Tyam. Just use a little common sense. If you don't have much, here is your chance to develop some, instead of spending your brain energy and making up excuses for foolishness. When he sits on his head, he suggests that exercising good sense is of some urgency, lest you would wind up on your head like him. And some helpful insight. We have, I flow towards my goal. I am strongly protected as I go. Wow. So with the goat and on your adventure for this year of your heart, you know that you're protected. Using gentleness. Knowing that on your adventure, look out for the signs, for the answers to your questions will arrive in many forms. Use your common sense, but don't be afraid to speak up, or know when the action is called for, but don't be too silly about it. Do use some common sense. If you chose pole number 3, Divinely Inspired, genre reading for 2022, all about romance, you've got the mouse. So it's all about opportunity. The mouse is telling you to look at what is right in front of your eyes and take action. Fertility, abundance, and expansion is now at your fingertips. Use this energy to produce new ideas, development, creativity, and social connections. Any number of opportunities are available for you right now. Wow, that sounds exciting. And with the mouse comes a friendly fae. And he is the autumn fae. And he says, go slowly and listen closely for the words of the tree spirits. Okay. And with the friendly fae, you have some fairies. This one is the singer of initiation, but he's on his head. The second one we have, she of the crutch. And the third one is the gloomiest loom. He's so gloomy, he wants to be on his head too. Okay, so with the first card, the singer of initiation. It's all about passage through a trial, a triumph, or a new level. But because he wants to stand on his head, he is actually saying to us that you're standing in the gateway of an initiation, and I know it's difficult to say that where you're going and the process that you may feel like a loss, then at the moment into a new level of being. But a prayer for insight helps. But a greater deal of progress is about discovering and showing what we can do. This is a test, one requiring much, if not all of our inner resources and wisdom, and it demands that we go beyond what we have achieved before. Instead of asking things like, why me, or when is it going to end, try asking, how can I do this better? Or how can I handle this more wisely than I ever have before? How can I handle things differently or more creatively? Is there another point of view that I have never looked at? What golden door is being offered to me to explore with this apparent problem? The second card, She of the Crutch, is all about the receptive principle, nurturing, and fertility. She of the Crutch, she indicates in the form of a pregnancy, and it's a necessary time of nurturing and development. We need to be open to her overflowing grace. She may also indicate a need to allow her nurturing grace to flow through us to others in the forms of the unconditional love and giving and the spiritual healing. She tells us of the need for unconditional receiving and of making the best of what we are offered. She also reminds us that unbounded love and grace is ours, just waiting to be accepted. The presence of her radiates comforts and nurturing to all the cards around it. And then we have the gloomiest doom. He's all about self-defeat, self-pity, self-destruction, taking care of ourselves. Wow, he's on his head. So, when the gloomiest doom, he's obviously saying that someone is sunk in self-pity, and this is having a deleterious effect on that person and on the situation. I hate to say it, but there is a very little that anyone but that person can do to change the attitude. It is important to remember that trying to push someone else into a different attitude usually only encourages them to resist us, making the matters worse. So take this into account in making your own plans and decisions, and just get on with doing your best and what you can do with your life. It is up to the other person to sort out his or her own attitudes. Wow. And the words for this year: I am ready for something bigger, better, and brighter. Wow, that is so exciting. What a fantastic year in the matters of romance. Knowing that initiation is calling you to go forward by using unconditional grace and love, support and understanding, being receptive. Let go of the other person if they are in self-doubt or self-pitying. Don't let them interfere or discourage you. There could be some sort of pregnancy. Someone will hear some news, but don't let that interfere of what is coming. Be ready for something beautiful to manifest within your life. If you enjoy this reading, please leave a comment, and do not forget to like and subscribe. I am divinely inspired.